So if you've got a few minutes for some light entertainment, but I think it's informative and you should be aware of it, you feel free to hang out with Kevin and I. The behavioral sciences, I've been reading up on that and I find it quite interesting. Now this whole behavioral science and the behavioral insight teams, the nudge units, I'm using their terminology here. They are, that is the B.I.T. teams, are there to nudge us, the general population, into thinking, voting, and behaving as they want us to. Now, who are they that is nudging us? Well, here in Canada, we have a B.I.T. team in Ottawa. You can go find it at .ca, should you desire. I did a vid or two on them a little while back. Well, our Canadian B.I.T. team is headed by a fellow from Toronto named Tregebov. I forget if it's Andrew, his first name. Again, I covered this already. Anyways, our Mr. Tregebov is a Young Global Leaders Program graduate and WEF member. In the previous videos, I did a little, what year and what not Tregebov did with the WEF. So who are they then that is nudging us? Well, who in the WEF really knows? Now, if you read up on these psych manipulators a bit, no pun intended, they admit that their efforts at nudging us, the public, are, despite their best efforts, somewhat unpredictable and inconsistent as regards efficacy. Remember that one? Yeah, sorry. And duration. And on rare occasion, it seems to perhaps backfire on them, creating not the intended result, but rather bringing to light the very subject matter they want to perhaps hide. A good example of this, I think, right now here is in Canada, where Mark Carney, a 5-star general in the WEF, is being placed as our Liberal Party leader. And I see on social media and in independent media quite a lot of talk about Carney and his being a lifelong WEFer. Now, the one constant in their manipulation efforts, the B.I.T. teams, is it works better on a somewhat predictable curve as to the intelligence. The lower the IQ, the easier to plant what I call a brainworm. Now, the duration and the need for reinforcement, I'm not going to get into here. Think face diapers. There's still some people out there wearing them. You can show them the box where it says it doesn't work for what you think it works, and their brain freezes. Cognitive dissonance thing. Which brings me to my point. I got a little ahead of myself there. Now, these psychop masters of manipulation know that a certain percentage of the brainworms, once lodged into the victim's cranium, can be nigh on impossible to dislodge. Got a little ahead of myself with the diapers there. I mean, there's people out there who've had 9 roosters and will happily, they're waiting for the next one. Yeah. Now, you can't dislodge that brainworm with facts, data, statistics, studies, or even simple logic. Again, it says on the box, they don't work. Anyways, the current brainworm since the panda worm of 2020 and 2021 and into the early part of 2022 has served its purpose. The great transfer of wealth, or the great wealth transfer, whichever you prefer. So the current one, of course, is, better be careful with my terminology here, Greta Thunberg. You know what I'm talking about, right? They tax us here in Canada and a lot of other countries, all the ones that are led by WEF members. Yeah. Although this net zero Greta psychop goes back even before the panda. But it's frowned upon if you question or refute what the nudge units call science. They use the term denier. Denying this, denying that, denying this, denying that. Denier. Nudge, nudge. Sorry, can't talk straight up about some of this stuff, right? So while Greta and her brainworm followers glue their hindsides to the road, I'm left to wonder, why do they use orange paint? You know, to defile artwork. I mean, you'd think they'd use green paint, wouldn't you? I mean, it would stick with the whole green theme, right? But hey, maybe Greta's brainworm followers, brainworm-infected followers, think green paint's made from trees? I don't know. Anyways, we're being nudged constantly. Yeah. You can find our Canadian Bit Nudge Unit and gang, Tregaboff and crew at canada.ca, where they, much like the World Economic Forum's SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, paint a rosy picture. In summation, if you go to I know I'm moving topic here a little bit, if you go to the World Economic Forum's Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, they say one of them is to end world hunger. Sounds like a noble goal. Same as the goals of the BIT Nudge Unit in Ottawa look noble on the website. Back to the WEF again, and their Sustainable Development Goals. It says one of them is to end world hunger. And that's it. There's no plan. Just, we're going to end world hunger. You look a little dig a little deeper into the Sustainable Development Goals of the World Economic Forum, and one of them is conventional farming is not sustainable and has to stop. Alternative proteins must be considered. Do I hear crickets? Do hear crickets. Anyways, take care.